Hey y'all, it's your girl T, aka Scotty Robin, and I am super excited to be bringing you guys this segment of Ask Scotty. Instead of me answering the questions individually, I will definitely be giving you all the answers in an informative way by giving you guys pretty much history and facts and information about my journey if you hadn't read it on my blog, which is here. But before we jump into the video, I definitely do, and I would love for you all to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. So I found out I had fibroids back in 2013. I was 22 years old, and I had my surgery when I was 29 years old in 2020. So I suffered from fibroids for 7 years. I was hospitalized twice. I had 3 blood transfusions, and the third one was during surgery. That's how bad I suffered from severe anemia, all because of fibroids. I had been on 2 birth controls, oral and depot. Depot never took. Usually your cycle is supposed to stop, but mine never did. I had passed out a few times. Listen, my entire experience with fibroids was traumatic, and it came to a point where I was tired. I was tired of getting blood transfusions. I was tired of having the bad cramps that I was having. I was tired of planning my life around fibroids. I literally had to plan everything around fibroids, because it wasn't just like 1 week I was down because of my cycle. It was also the week after because I was spotty. And it was just like being on my cycle for 2 weeks. And this was all with me being on birth control. My first indication of learning that I had fibroids were my cramps. And my cramps were bad to the point where I got on birth control in undergrad. So my cramps got worse, and then I started blood clotting. So those were like the first 2 symptoms or indications you can say that I had. And once I got on birth control, like, that's when my cycle started getting really, really bad. My cramps were really, really bad to the point where I was throwing up. And who wants to throw up every cycle? Like, I could only literally consume water, Powerade, or a salad throughout the entire time I was on my menstrual cycle. I would go through maybe 2.5 boxes per month. I mean, like the size 4 pads during my cycle. Like, I would carry at least 10 pads with me per day. Just because I didn't know how my body would be. I would have extra clothes in the car just because I didn't know how my cycle would be. Sometimes I would have a good one. Sometimes I would have a real bad one. And I was at a point where I was tired of going up and down with my cycle. I was tired of trying to figure out whether or not I was going to have a good month or a bad month. I was tired. I had already reached like the end of my rope, and I didn't want to start my 30s off still dealing with this pain and still going through like a traumatizing cycle every month. Like, I was tired. So I decided to have surgery. And by the time I did decide to have surgery, I had already met with 4 doctors. My third doctor, Dr. Carlos, he had retired on me. So I went down the hall to Dr. Winford Parnell. His daughter, Wendy Parnell, works in the same office. But I went to Dr. Winford Parnell, and that is who performed my surgery with me. Well, on me. He performed an excellent surgery. I recommended him to everyone who was asking about my surgery. And like I said a lot before surgery, you know, about my fibroids and the journey and everything that I went through on my blog post. And as much as I would love to sit and tell y'all about that, I would rather much so tell you about the positives of getting your fibroids removed, because there's so many of them. So let's begin. First things first, I can wear all white. My butt not that big, but I'm still fine. Secondly, since I've gotten my fibroids removed and I had my myomectomy surgery, life has been really great. For those who do have fibroids, you all know you plan around your cycle. Everything you do, you have to plan it around your cycle. You know, you have to pack a nice hefty amount of pads with you whenever you do decide to go out during your cycle. You need to be doped up on like good pain medication while you have, you know, while you're on your cycle. And since I've gotten my fibroids removed, honestly, I cramp before my cycle. I'll cramp 2 days before my cycle. That's how I know it's coming. During my cycle, I do not cramp at all. Hallelujah. And I'm happy because my cramps used to take me out. Cramping 1 or 2 days before my cycle and then having a light cycle for 4 days, period. I'm all about getting a myomectomy. Remove them fibroids, sis. Remove them. Also, since I've gotten my fibroids removed, my outer appearance is on point. There was a time where people used to ask my friends and people used to kind of like say sly things to me and ask if I was pregnant when the whole time I was suffering from fibroids. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I post a lot of full body pictures because you don't know how it feels for somebody to assume that you're pregnant and then have the audacity to ask if you're pregnant when they know damn well you're not. And, you know, looking back at those pictures, I didn't even look that bad. And, like, looking at my pictures now, I don't think I looked that bad. I just think people are ignorant. And people get so caught up in social media that they're not used to really just seeing a normal person with a flat stomach. So to those that did ask, I hope your fat ass is doing great. But other than that, I look great. So that's why I'm going to always continue to post a full body picture on Instagram or any social media network because I look great and I feel great. And it's not to like throw my body up in anybody's face. It's because I really feel good. And the experience that I had over those 7 years and getting those fibroids removed, I'm happy to be able to stand in front of a mirror and not look pregnant or not be in pain. So until you know how that feels, baby, you're not going to understand why I look this good and why I always brag and why I always post. 1 year post-surgery has been extremely great. It's been extremely healthy. It's been amazing. I honestly recommend women to have surgery because you're getting your life back. All of us who have suffered from fibroids, and those of you who are still suffering with fibroids, you know that your life stops so much. And even if you don't want to get a hysterectomy and you don't want to get a myomectomy, there are still other options for you. Would I try the holistic way? No, I did. I did try the diet and I did not like that because I couldn't tell if my fibroids were shrinking. Like, I'm spending all of this money trying to go on this strict diet and eat all of these foods that I don't even like just to not know if they're shrinking or not. That's just not my thing. You know, to all of the women who are doing it the holistic way, I definitely commend you. I really do hope that you get the results that you want. But as for me and my body, I chose to have surgery and I chose to get my fibroids removed because that just didn't work for me. But also, like I had said in my blog, a lot of things didn't work for me. Depo didn't work for me. Birth control barely worked to regulate my cycles. All of our bodies as women are different, but that is just something I'm not recommending in this arena. 1 year post surgery, I have not been on birth control since November. And I can honestly say, since I haven't been on birth control, things are a little different as far as hormonal. I don't get hot flashes anymore. I don't suffer from those menopause symptoms anymore. I don't have any blood clots because of the birth control. And I stayed on birth control from August until November. And the reason why I chose to get off of it was because I wanted to give my body a break. I wanted to give my body a rest in hormonal supplements. And I had been on birth control since I was 22. So for me, it was just like, no, I'm tired. Like, 1 year post surgery, my diet has changed. My diet has changed a lot for a lot of reasons. When I was first post surgery, I had gained at least 25 pounds. I got up to 142. Yeah, like 142 from June up until September. I had gained a lot of weight. And I didn't change my diet because I gained a lot of weight. I changed my diet because I was eating burgers, like homemade burgers, every week. I wasn't being healthy. I was eating like I was trying to get all these years back in one. And it caught up to me. 1 year post surgery, I am happy to say that I am no longer severe anemic. I have not had a blood transfusion since the day I had surgery on June 10th, 2020. And I have not had to go get any iron transfusions because my CBC is regulated, my blood count is regulated, and my anemia is under control. So that right there is the major blessing coming from me getting my fibroids removed and having that myomectomy surgery. I wanted to have a laser surgery because I did not want to get cut. As shallow as I am, I didn't want to get cut. And I said this in my blog, but now that I'm 30 and I'm looking back on like last year and even the years prior, I put my body through so much pain just because I am that shallow. And even like with this cut, I still look good. And even though it's like a bikini cut, nobody sees it, obviously, except for me. But I look good. I feel good. I'm no longer struggling. I'm no longer suffering. And I recommend every woman to go out and get your fibroids looked at. Have the surgery. And if you are afraid to have a myomectomy, or if you're afraid to get cut or just of surgery at all, then that means you need to find you an OBGYN that you can trust. Because if you're that afraid to having that surgery, then that means you're putting your life in the hands of someone that you don't trust. I trusted Dr. Carlos. I also trusted Dr. Parnell, not because they were Black, but because I developed and I built a relationship with them for me to trust them. And like I said, if you don't feel like you can trust your OBGYN, it's time for you to start looking to find that OBGYN you can trust. For me, all of my doctors are Black. I'm a Black woman, and there's a lot of racism in the medical field. And I would rather have somebody who looks like me working and operating on me than somebody who may be trying to get more money for their hospital. That's just facts. That's also why I'm afraid to have a baby. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about on this video. As you know, on my blog, I said I was my doctor's second patient in 37 years who actually had their this rare form of fibroids. So if you hadn't seen my Instagram and you hadn't read my blog post and you still don't understand why I post full body pictures, baby, this is why. This is why I always post full body pictures. Don't be looking at my nails too much. I'm getting them done today. But that is why I always post full body pictures, because of what is no longer in me and what is no longer controlling me. My fibroids controlled me for 7 years, and everybody who was around me knows that it was not good. All knew I was suffering. So for me to have my fibroids removed, of course they were all happy, but I was more happy because I felt like I got my life back. And with my fibroids getting removed, I feel like my life is just beginning. And I really do hope that, even though I didn't give you guys like an extreme list of all these benefits of why you should get a myomectomy, I really hope that the important thing that you learned is that I got my health back. You know, that's mainly the important thing. I got my health back and I got my life back. So if you are struggling and you are in the process of about to get your myomectomy, get it. You're gonna feel amazing. You're gonna feel good, and this is gonna be one of the best decisions you ever make and the best choice you ever make for your body. I really hope that you do go visit my blog post, Scotty's Fibroid Journey, on my blog, and you visit it and you do read about my fibroid journey before I had my fibroids removed. And I did talk a little bit post-surgery a year ago about how it was a year ago, but a year later, I can tell you that I am very happy, I am very healthy, and I really do pray that you also go out and you get your fibroids removed so that you can live a long life and that you can get your life back as well. I love you.